The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors, Amazon.com and tpublic.com. Listeners, beware. Coming straight from the Mouths of Madness, I'm one of the hosts, Lowdown. With me as always is...
F.U. Hunter. What's up, bitches?
What's up, you mommy, boy, girl, bitches?
Swimming in the lake, all safe and shit, and then you drown. Yeah, you bitches.
Well, really, we say, like, have you been picked on? We understand. Because really, like, poor Jason was just a, victim of bullying.
See? And that's what happens. You bully somebody, and eventually they become a big-ass motherfucker and just murder the shit out of people.
Exactly. Yeah. And with us tonight to talk about the Friday the 13th franchise is Myke Reiser. He is back.
Yeah, happy to be here. We're going to be talking about, like, child neglect,
Child neglect. And
he was a victim of that, too.
Yeah, that is very true. Shitty fucking counselors worry about getting their dick wet.
I'll say this. The one thing we were denied between 1 and 2 is a workout montage to explain how the little boy got all fucking beefed up and fucking tossed out.
There's the Merkins did a video about that. I can post that to the. Okay. You all will see that.
Yeah, because that's what I need. I need something to show that training regiment when he got big as shit and able to murder motherfuckers with just his hands. You know?
It's not in the woods, but it's still a training montage for Jason.
Okay,
so there's
good.
that.
I'm glad that exists because there's plenty of other plot holes in that series.
I'm just saying he's a skinny ass, weird looking kid who fucking drowns, and next time we see him in 2, he's fucking big as shit murdering people.
Oh man, he could have been fighting bears and shit. Like, you don't know, he's living in the woods, man.
I'm just saying that's not the natural evolution of weird skinny kid that fucking can't swim.
True.
Is big ass motherfucker that can grab your face and crush it. All right, like
fair.
Yeah.
Now he wasn't that strong initially.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't until 3.
Yeah.
He wasn't that big in 2.
He was pretty big.
No, dude, the actor was not big in 2.
He was. I wouldn't say. All right, like big. He was towering. He had a presence. All right,
a presence.
But I'll say that. But it wasn't until 3 where
a sack on his head would give him a presence.
Yeah.
Too, by the way.
Yeah, it helped that his victims were all pipsqueaks in the second one. Most
true.
But yeah, by 4 they were just like, yeah, he's a big ass motherfucker. Like
he was taller in 4, but he was thicker in 3.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like the guy they got to play him in 3 was just like this fucking giant lumbering dude.
Yeah.
Ted White is just a tall fuck from 4. Like, we met him in a con, and he's fucking tall.
Mm-hmm.
Skinny, but tall. This is your first episode that's not King related.
I was just thinking about that.
Delightful.
Yeah.
It's nice to be freed from that world of literature and talk about something really, really enjoyable.
Yeah.
In a very different lowbrow kind of way.
Exactly. No, but it's like, I always want you on King because there's very few people that actually know his catalog as much as we would like for the King stuff. But I figured you'd have fun talking about Jason. All right, we're going to kind of be running through the franchise here. We don't really need to break down movie per movie because that's just a lot.
Wait, do we do a spoiler warning because of to make sure people know that the first one isn't Jason? Do we need to give people a heads up about that?
Let them know that about the 5th one too.
No,
just so they don't waste their time.
They need to watch.
I'm not going to give any warning about the 5th one because if you go into the 5th one, you deserve what you get. Fuck you. Anyhow, but all right, I guess I'm already showing my emotions about the 5th one.
Yeah.
And that comes from a very disappointed 12-year-old watching that going, are you fucking serious?
Are you
fucking serious? I was so angry. So angry.
So we were going to do a best and worst of, but I'm pretty sure we can all agree that was the worst Jason.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
as
Jason,
far as
we're not talking about the movie, but just actually the Jason.
Like the Friday the 13th. 5 I feel like it's the worst of the franchise.
You know what though? It has
the kills are fun.
The kills are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that puts it almost over Manhattan. Okay.
It also has
because Manhattan is fucking boring. It's mainly on a fucking ship. Like,
and the kills aren't that good.
And like
there's like one.
His death at the end of Manhattan is stupid.
Yeah, and I will say a charitable thing about 5 before we bury it and forget it forever. Some of the characters are great. The kid eating the candy bars and the rage out dude. That's great.
It does come across as kind of a very cult style with the characters compared to like your very generic ones. Like just the weird like redneck trashy fucking characters. The dude riding the motorcycle and the fucking mom and shit like that. So there are some weird kind of crazy outlandish characters in there. But man, and like at least you have that. As much as I fucking hate 5, at least you have some kind of character in it.
Yeah, and I enjoyed Tommy in 5 because he just has these massive outbursts of just beating the fuck out of people. He's like, talk shit, wham, 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 wham. He literally put like 3 kids into like the fucking like, nurses station in the camp. I'm like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah, and he also has beautiful mask-making artistic abilities, so he's a sensitive soul, too, in addition to his uncontrollable rage.
Yeah, that's PTSD for you. That's
Plus,
what that is.
In my opinion, 5, another thing I could say positive about 5 is that I think 5, because it was so shitty and pissed off the fans, helped bring out my favorite of the series in 6.
Yeah, but also, that's why it didn't do shit, was because of 5. It fucked up pretty much every other movie under the franchise after that.
Box office wise, yes, 6 did not do well because of
nor did 7, nor did 8.
They some of those did a little more, but 5, because it was so shitty, they're like, oh, we need to go a completely different direction than we did, and that's where we got 6.
Yeah,
and
that's
what encourages 6, not just bringing actually Jason back in the way they did, but the little hints of comedy, the fucking kills are top notch. So I'll give it 5 being so shitty. Brought a 6.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, okay, so if I'm looking at 5 as cohesive story up until the ending, that movie actually has a flow to it, and the kills are good. The big thing is just that it's not Jason. That pissed a lot of people off. That pissed me off. That's what I'm saying. That rage is really what drives it for me, calling it the worst. But if we're actually looking from a technicality standpoint, Manhattan's probably the worst.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say because Jason Goes to Hell was trash, too.
Yeah, I know. And it's one of those things. I'm like, fuck Manhattan. I was like, oh yeah, that means that the one where Jason's not Jason through most of the movie would be better than that. So I don't know. I can be cautious about saying Manhattan's the worst one.
So I will say this: I've rewatched 5, and I just stop it at the final scene because it just annoys me. Like now, I just watch it. I don't get raged. I just annoyed. But the last time I tried to watch 8, I couldn't finish it because it's just a bad movie.
Yeah, and the nice thing about stopping 5 right before the ending is 6 reveals it was all just a dream anyway. So
yeah, I like it. Yeah,
but no, yeah, 8 is. I forgot how unwatchable that is.
That's so bad.
And again, it's not just that it's doesn't make any fucking sense that Jason gets on this boat in Crystal Lake. I will say the term. I'll say it again, Crystal Lake. And somehow ends up on a cruise liner that is on the East Coast going to New York. How does that work again?
As far as I know, lakes don't really connect to other bodies of water that will eventually connect to a channel that connects to the ocean.
And the director's response is, I hope nobody really figured that out. See, you're already talking down to your audience. You're like, yeah, I hope nobody really thought about the, science of a lake going connected to the fucking, ocean. Don't worry about that, guys. And that's just the start of it. And then again, most of it takes place on a fucking cruise liner. Nobody fucking cares about seeing Jason kill people in their cabins.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's embarrassing, especially because Jason is capable. He can clearly steal people's clothes. He can take their items and use them against them. He could have just walked out of the lake and got on the boat, not in the lake.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And we get literally the title movie and it's 20 minutes? 20 minutes of him in actually New York.
Yeah.
And there's one good kill. And that one good kill is some guy that was dumb enough to try to box fucking Jason.
Look, man, that one kill wouldn't have been as good if we hadn't had shit for pretty much 3/4 of the movie before that. I'm sorry, if it was up to the other level of the other Jason movies, that kill wouldn't have been as awesome. I really think they put that kill for a reason.
It's a funny kill. That's the thing, is that it's not a good kill. It's very basic, But this dude I'll box the shit out of you, and you're like, all right, you exactly what would happen if you tried to box fucking Jason happens. So it's not a great kill, but it is pretty funny.
It is funny, and like I said, it still would have been funny, but to me that is the best kill that the movie has. It's really weak on the kills. The guitar kill I didn't care. Him breaking the one chick's neck, I didn't like. The lava rock made no sense. How the fuck did
you burn? You just burn. Yeah, that's death right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of the worst, weakest kills of some of the early movies combined with so much wasted potential. I think that's what hurts my feelings the most. I got so excited when he was walking through Times Square, approaching the crew, breakdancing with their boombox. Here, we're going to see something magical, and then we didn't.
Yeah, he just kicks the boombox and goes on.
He
doesn't kill anybody, but like, and it's weird. He has such a hard on, but he has such a hard on for the people when they get off the cruise liner that, like, literally, it's Jason. You're anywhere near him, he's going to fucking kill you. Or, well, I guess not. Like, it's like he's walking through the streets, and you're waiting to see him just take a machete, start slashing motherfuckers on the sidewalks. No, he's like, no, you're good, you're cool. I'm just those people. I was scaring them earlier, so I have to finish what I was doing. So fuck it.
And Jason is a killer who could twist policemen into pretzels, and we just see him do PG drags of officers into the alleyways. I guess would have been too controversial.
Yeah. Jason Takes Manhattan could have literally just follow the beats of almost like fucking Rambo, where eventually the whole city's like after Jason, because the whole town, they bring in the military, they're fucking rolling in all the artillery to stop John Rambo. It's like that's what New York had to do for Jason. And basically what we could have gotten was the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell at the end of Jason Takes Manhattan, where they just drop a fucking bomb on his ass. But we didn't get that.
It would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense.
The toxic waste that runs through New York turns him into a child.
It just fills the fucking sewers on a regular
what time is it? Oh, it's about 5 o'clock, so don't be in the sewers. That's when we rush the toxic waste.
That's the worst Jason unmasked makeup.
How do you explain this? Was there a child? Like, was Jason actually a robot controlled by a little child, and that toxic waste melted that? Because what happens? He's in the toxic waste, and then there's a child there.
A, there's a problem if you got toxic waste running through your city on a nightly basis.
Thank you. Yeah.
And B, if your toxic waste is turning adult zombies into children, you need to check what the fuck you're doing with your city, bro, because that's not how that works.
But that's not a kill. That you go back to fucking Corey Feldman, fucking just going the fuck off with a machete on him. Yeah. You get to fucking old adult Tommy in part 6, fucking chain rock, and like these.
Even 7.
Inventive ways of like, I'm going to do what I can to fucking kill you or stop you. And this one goes, oh shit, it's almost 5 o'clock. He's going to be in the sewer when the toxic waste comes. It'll turn into a child. No, stop it. Bad.
Bad. No bad.
I mean, look, part 7 with all the psychic ability and stuff. Okay, whatever. But, I know apparently Psychic Girl brings Ghost Dad out of the water, and that's stupid. And it was almost like, as the director of Manhattan was like, oh, fucking hold my beer. You think that?
Yeah.
You think waterlogged zombie dad is bad? I will fucking one-up you on that shit.
I will say one thing that 7 has that they, I guess, tried to have like a small little funny comedy aspect in 8 was, on the rooftop with a boxer where someone tried to go toe-to-toe. Yo, girl went toe-to-toe with Jason and put him through the fucking ringer. And that was what was also about 7. It wasn't all the bullshit kills that got cut in the first part of the movie, because it was supposed to be the MPAA had a fucking field day with the entire franchise.
Oh yeah,
it fucked up, and I say fucked up because, but it not like where it's unwatchable. There's so many Friday the 13th movies that I enjoy. It fucked it up because it could have just been that much better, because they just neutered the fuck out of it.
So many of the kills.
Much, especially in 7 got hit the hardest with that. So really, for me, the part of 7 that I love is just them going at it toe-to-toe. She's breaking electrical fucking cables. And
I do particularly like the scene when she fucking awesome. Just breaks his mask.
Yeah, and then we see the awesome zombie Jason. Because we hadn't seen that since the beginning of part 6.
Yep.
So that was really cool. And just like setting him on fire, nail gun to the face. Like, she fucked Jason up, dude. Like, that's the only person that's really ever fucked Jason up. And that's really what I enjoyed about it.
7. Was pretty much like the screenwriter had intended, which was Carrie versus Jason.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's pretty much that, but you can use Carrie, so it's random psychic girl that lost her dad to the lake years ago. So close enough.
And it works because it's not like in the past where you see people like shooting Jason or whatever, yada yada, which has always been the go-to. It's like she can be at such far distance and fuck him up, so she can't get, because once you're in like his zone, you're pretty much done. Because if he can get his hands on you, and she could use anything. It didn't matter what it was to fuck him up,
I will say, though, with part 7, that, again, the pacing is really boring.
I think that's because of the kills, too, though, being neutered.
The kills, but also just, like, you don't really care. The whole subplot of the doctor trying to work with the
Burning?
Yeah, burning. Exactly. Yeah, burning. That subplot, it's every time they go into it, I'm like, I don't fucking care. Where's Jason? Why isn't he fucking killing? And, like, I watched it, and like, he doesn't kill anybody legitimate for like fucking 40 minutes.
That's because they neutered it.
you're just going through the psychology of this doctor going, Psychic Girl needs some help. Like, I don't fucking care about Psychic Girl except for the end.
True.
Yeah, it's completely joyless because the whole thing is meant to be the Psychic Girl's story of her trauma, which is not an interesting one.
I don't care. I don't care about
and
that.
we already had just seen Tommy's story, which is much better.
Yeah. So that's really, the latter half of the series just really did kind of take a tailspin.
They just got lazy.
Because if you go to the first one, like just when that movie came out, 1980, inventive kills, it really made the slasher kind of what it is. We had all these proto slashers, obviously Halloween, the silent killer, just go around just killing, at the time, no real reason kind of thing, and this actually gave the killer a story, but it was still that unseen killer thing, and like, again, Savini with his inventive kills. Then, they wanted more. The first one grossed a lot of money. Like a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
People wanted that shit. Then you get part 2, and I'm like, okay, now apparently Jason didn't die in the lake, which was the whole. And they never. What was it? There's something that they don't give away in the first one. She never said he had any kind of slow, like he was deformed or anything like that in the original Friday the 13th. She never says that at the end.
Really?
She just said he wasn't a very good swimmer. She never said anything about you didn't know anything about that until the final scene when he jumps out of the lake.
Yeah.
But Pamela Voorhees never said anything about that. So that was kind of interesting.
And it's weird because I guess how successful the first one was. They're like, well, we got to do a second one. All right, well, the main killer in the first one doesn't have a head, so he didn't drown, guys. Like, it's like one of the things like, here we go. And he got all buffed. He got bigger, and he's killing motherfuckers. And
rumor has it that he watched his mom get beheaded.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that the first one had inventive kills for, what it was at the time period, the Kevin Bacon's obviously
that's kind of the top mark.
Everything else is like a stab.
I mean, because there's a couple of the point of view ones where the guy's like, "Hey, what are you?" Oh, and like literally that's the kill is like I just walked towards you with a knife and stabbed you, and there you go, that's a kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's some good bow and arrow marksmanship in keeping with the whole
That's
camp.
right. Yeah.
And then tease you with that because that she's by the bow and arrow and almost gets hit by somebody else being a douche. Earlier in the movie, she's like, that's clever. But what they really do with the first one is the suspense. It's really more still carrying over from the 70s, heavy suspense laden.
Yeah, it borrows heavily from the Wes Craven style of Hills Have Eyes of keep you guessing
Black Christmas,
who's out there.
all
Black
that
Christmas
stuff.
does that as well.
I just want to give it up to Pamela Voorhees. Man, she worked out because she is lifting bodies and hanging them up and doing all this shit. And you think about it, by the end of the movie, you're after you watch it the first time, you know what's happening. If you just think about the in-between scenes that we don't see of her fucking lugging these motherfuckers and hanging them up and putting them in place, because some of the people she killed, she didn't just leave them there. She's got them in strategic places or falling down, shit like that. And you're just like, yeah, she got to work out there. And I gave her props because later on you see Jason, that's no problem, carry a couple bodies.
I was going to say, it's believable when it's Jason, not. But she is crazy, and crazy has a whole different level of strength too.
Yeah, but there's still limits. Crazy with physical,
There's been a lot of studies done.
I'm just saying, I just see her with that sweater, the turtleneck sweater, carrying a body, going, all right, let's get you all tied up here. I
mean, have you seen it lately? Pam does look good in it.
So
I just don't see her being that buff. I just don't see her. Yeah.
And
those are the deleted scenes I want to see too.
And then part 2, then we get Jason, and the original writer director. Cunningham didn't come back. It was Miner who was part of the first one. So everything starts to change. But 2 is still a solid. It literally follows the same beats, but kills start getting a little more brutal because now it is Jason doing it, right? And you don't have the hockey mask yet, but you get which also this scene got neutered all to hell was the fucking arrow, the spear through the fucking bed scene.
Oh yeah,
that was probably one of the raddest kills. No, the wheelchair.
Yeah.
The wheelchair.
Reiser was waiting for that one. Like, we're going to talk about the wheelchair
The
one, right?
wheelchair is my favorite of the whole series, but the nice thing about 2 is it does have this little influence from the Italian horror movies of the time in the kills and the bloodshed. The spear one is a reference to one of the Argento movies, as I recall. And yeah, it does have like the nastiest, in most poor taste kill in the entire series. A handicapped kid who's a very nice guy gets hit in the face with a machete and then kicked down the stairs for his trouble.
And that's what's
no
perfect,
reason.
is it's not just that he gets the machete to the face, but then, and there's something very iconic about just it's raining and those long fucking steps, and like he's just
riding
dead.
down him.
He's dead with the machete in his face, and it's like bump, bump, bump. It's like the scene from Untouchables with the carriage, except dead machete dude, where it just keeps going down those steps, and the director doesn't stop. He just lets you keep watching this dead poor dude in a wheelchair.
It does like pan out before he gets to the bottom, but you're literally watching him for, I don't know, 5 not 5, but like 3 different sections of the steps, because it's such a long fucking way down.
One of the genius moves that the producers of the Friday the 13th movies did, specifically in those first 4, and because I didn't start with 1, I didn't start with 2. I started with actually, I think 3 or maybe 4.
I think I started with 4.
But they had this technique where they said, okay, you haven't seen the ones earlier, but let's remind you of the kills. And I remember that's where I was like, whoa, they killed a motherfucker in a wheelchair? Because they were like going back. I was like, I got to go back and see that now. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the handy little recaps previously
really
on
good.
Friday the 13th.
But it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they had one where there's like a campfire and like there's shit they're talking about. And it was really effective, especially if you didn't start with the first one. And like I said, I jumped on 3 or 4, and they're like, if you like the kills in this, we're going to show you what happened earlier. Go check them out.
Yeah, I think it's a nice touch. It does make it a little difficult to try to watch the series altogether, because you are going to see the girl impersonate Pamela Voorhees so many times you will get bored with it.
Yeah, that is actually very true. But 2 is where you start seeing how like Jason's unstoppable. You know, at the very end, I mean, a whack across the shoulder with a machete.
Yeah.
That's gonna put your ass down, you know. But also you start to see inconsistency in how they got different special effects artists in the different movies, because when 3 kicks in, so 2, 3, and 4 are the same 3 days. They literally happen within the same 3 days. So when 3 kick starts, it's right after 2. They show him come back to life, and now he has no hair. He's pink and piggish looking. You know what I mean? Like, he looks completely different.
Dying for a little while will do that to your hair. That's what I understand.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So dying for like an hour.
You get cut up for a little while, and like when you regenerate, like your hair goes out, and that's how it works.
Dying for like an hour just totally changes.
Yeah, that's how it works.
A lot of people don't realize, like, and there's like news reports happening, like Steve Miner has a cameo in 3 where the old lady at the beginning when she owns the shop is watching the news. The newscaster is the Steve Miner from.
That's right. Yeah.
But he's talking about the kills. Like every one of the between what is it 2, 3, and 4. 3's got a news report about what happened in 2. 4's got a news report about what happened in 3 and 2. Like there's still a killer around the lake. You know.
How incompetent are the fucking cops? And I'm gonna reference the beginning of 4 because there are helicopters, a fuck ton of cops are going, all this shit. They got this body. This dude they're discovering bodies all over the place. Like it's a big fucking deal. And they're like,
don't close down the lake.
And then this is the killer. And then he escapes, and there's not any police presence any time in part 4 after he kills the coroner and gets the fuck out of there. And then like, yeah, well, I guess he escaped. He had already murdered like 30 people, but he'll pop up again sometime.
Well, as 6 reveals, it has one of the nastiest, meanest cops in charge of that town in any horror movie outside of maybe a Rob Zombie movie, because that dude's not afraid to point a shotgun at his own daughter.
Oh yeah,
that is true. That is very true. And in 3, I mean, the biggest thing about 3 really that come out. I mean, I think I enjoy 3 better than 2, but the big thing about 3 is you get outside of the shitty ass 3D.
The blatant obvious with the scenes that you don't really need to have, like the yo-yo going down towards the camera and hey, do you want this thing? And they hand it and it's in your face. You're like, yes, at one time 3D was really gonna blow your mind, but you could just cut these scenes out, people.
And he gets the mask.
Yeah.
The iconic cocky mask.
3 is a huge step up in a lot of ways. The production values are better. The acting is noticeably better. And the kills get a lot zanier because the 3D gimmick, while it's silly for, say, the title sequence or the yo-yo, the flying eyeball is just fantastic.
I was about to totally throw it. That's the one time they're like, oh, man. They were like, they said, all right, we got this 3 movies. Like, we're going to have an eyeball coming out, right? Like, you almost like, no, as soon as they brought up the concept of part 3 and it was going to be 3D, they're like, we're going to have an eyeball come out at somebody at some point, right? Because that's the only reason to have that scene.
And that's where you start seeing the strength, because he literally squeezed to make that happen.
Which is so crazy, because she's like right around the corner. She's like, hey, where are you? And he's just like, no, I'm about to fucking die.
Yeah, but it does feel in some ways like the gore has stepped down a little bit in 3 from 2 because the effects team seems to have spent more time figuring out how to get pitchforks to come right at you off the screen or spear guns to fly off the screen.
Yeah, no, that is true. It is. I feel like it is less gory.
All right, I'm not drawing a blank if it's 3 or 4, but the dude that thought it was, is walking around with his hands, is that 3 or is that 4? The dude that's walking on his hands and then
that is in 3.
Yes. That's the goriest scene.
Spectacularly gory.
And that right there is a pretty hardcore scene. That's why I was like trying to see if I could give 3 credit or 4 credit, because like he just
cut him in half through his dick.
And having the camera under him, and you just see him collapse like a.
Then when they stuff him on a rafter, you're like, holy fuck, man.
But that's a pretty fucking hardcore scene.
It is pretty hardcore, yes.
Yeah, it does feel like the entirety of the fake blood budget was spent there and the entire supply exhausted because the bikers die without any blood.
Yep.
The girl who gets spear gunned, I don't think there's a drop of blood from that either.
You don't even see some of the bikers, like the chick, like you just, she's already hanging up there. Like, she didn't even see her death.
The chick got a fucking crossbow to the eye. And it just there it is.
There it is, yeah.
It falls back. Now, I do wish that because remember, the one biker dude comes back at the end to help her, but Jason just goes to town on him with a pipe wrench. Can I get a shot of that? Because Jason hits him like 8 times, and he's a big motherfucker. Like, there couldn't be much of that head left.
No, all you get is twitching legs.
It almost was set up like a fucking Vin Diesel Rock fight scene from 5. Like, that biker dude was a big motherfucker, so I was waiting to see them go, and it's just, you're fucked up.
But the big 3D thing, too, at the end was, and it is an iconic Jason scene. It gets used for so many commercials when it comes to Friday the 13th. There's just the axe in the head, and then him reaching out. I mean, that is fucking rad, dude. Like, that, and if you have the 3D glasses, never watched it with 3D glasses, it is cool, but
it also and that's where it represents the you can't kill Jason kind of scenario, because I mean, motherfucker has a axe to the head, and his response is hands out, I'm coming at you.
And also, this is where they bring in some random shit though. Like, apparently he tried to like kill and or rape her in the past. That's fucking weird.
I was gonna bring that up where she has a memory of him and I had the same one. I was like, did Jason try to fuck her at one time? Like, hold on a second.
She's like, no, it's you. Oh,
yeah. But she's going through it, and I was like, what is happening? Like, the first time I watched it, I was like, this is fucking weird. Like,
yeah. It is fucking weird.
Yeah, the implications of it are incredibly uncomfortable.
It's not cool. He's an ugly motherfucker, dude. Like, it's just so cringy. It's cringy.
Jason doesn't care about pussy. Like, that's not his thing.
And again, the continuity, if he died at age 13, how is he out here hooking up with chicks? Doesn't make any sense.
It makes zero sense. Yeah. 0 cents.
Honestly, chicks show them their tits come off or they're fucking dead. Like, he gives 2 shits about
it. If you do anything sexual, that's Jason's MO. It's like, oh, you're going to die.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Yeah, he'll murder, but he's not raping, all right?
He's not
He has a code. He'll fucking stab something through your eyeball or whatever, but he will not rape. That's, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious, the juxtaposition of the extreme violence with the absolutely puritanical approach towards sex that the early movies show. They are the most reactionary horror movies out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them are just a morality play of what you should not do.
Seriously. Don't do drugs. Don't have premarital sex, and you'll be fine.
I do want to note, I love
how... And pray, because he'll spare you if you pray.
Yes, totally.
We jumped on the really shitty Friday 13th first, and it's funny because again it's pretty much that order of 7, 8, 9, and now we're going to the first, and like I was thinking like which kill is from which movie, because again the first 4 are so fucking solid. Like I had to ask y'all, like that one where he gets chopped down,
3,
which one is that?
That's iconic death scene. That is like so good.
That was the strength of the series that they just walked away from, and like we're going and we're in 3 and we're going 4, and it's like one of those things where there's so many strong fucking kills, and I just like thinking back to like, god damn, those later movies fucking suck that bad.
They do. They really do.
We're simple creatures.
And
just show us like how long we've been talking about part 3, a 3D movie.
That was ugh.
That again, you could easily cut out 20 minutes where it's just bullshit 3D, but the kills are good. You know.
Yeah, this is a example of it. They just get so much lazier as the movies go on. In the second one, he basically sets up the shopkeeper to get killed by some sort of venomous snake. I mean, there's so much effort that goes into that. And then, like, later, it's just, oh, I'm going to push you.
Now, I will say, we forgot to mention with part 2 that one of my favorite guys, the, Old Town guy that is trying to warn them.
He's got a death curse.
He's got a death curse. It was kind of sad to see him get taken out because,
I tried to bring him back with the throw where he's like, I have warned thee. And he's holding up the eyeball. I'm like, oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, but he was just more crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I miss the crazy Old Town person to warn them of death's on his way. Yeah, so they didn't really go with that anymore. It's just the first couple movies.
And then with 4, it picks up literally right the same night as 3. They're at the barn.
Again, cops are like...
They're like, oh no, but they got helicopters, fucking
closed.
ambulances. They're like, oh, this is Jason Voorhees.
I love the random cast, some of the casting it though, because you started off with the coroner, and that is dude from Police Academy movies.
Yeah.
And then you get into fucking Corey Feldman. And then if that wasn't enough... I have an appreciation.
Double Mint Twins.
Well, I have an appreciation for
twins.
goddamn
Chris
McGlover.
Yeah,
because he's such a crazy motherfucker. Everybody knows him from Back to the Future, but just all the shit he's in. And when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome." And then there's the dancing scene. I was like, "That's fucking Chris McGlover."
Yeah,
dancing
free ball
in a
that.
fucking Friday the 13th movie. I'm like, I'm so the fuck in.
That's actually not the song he was dancing to either.
Yeah.
Like that, there was actually a different song playing that they couldn't get the rights for, so they dubbed another song over it.
They had outtakes where, he did all sorts of crazy dancing. That was the one that they decided to go with in the fucking movie.
Is 4 the one with the disco song?
No, that's 3.
That's the song for 3, yeah.
Because you got to have the disco song and then the title cards coming in 3D at you just to get that full, that
really does make me like 3 a lot, though. Like, there's something about that, man.
That disco version is pretty fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome. But, so 4 comes out the gate with, like, way more, like, now we're, like, at the epitome of, like, violence for those movies. Because 4, like, he takes the hacksaw, slices the throat, twists the head at the same time, so it's basically nothing there. He guts the fucking nurse. Doesn't just stab her. He sticks it in and just slowly just rips it on up.
Yeah.
And guts her. Like, Jason wasn't doing that before. Like, so, they really amped that up because Savini came back for the effects on that one, so that helped.
And it's important to note he starts killing randoms for no reason there. That nurse turned down the advances of the coroner. She didn't want to hook up and got anyway.
Yep.
Got.
I'm just going to goddamn bring it up because and I know I've mentioned a couple episodes, but part 4 has one of the most amazing scenes of just show you how fucking badass Jason is. That literally a dog commits suicide instead of facing down Jason.
Yeah.
He just... And I still watch that. I'm just like, because there's nothing else to explain randomly this dog jumping through glass out of a second-story window to get away from Jason. That's how badass, most of the time you expect, the dog's going to try to attack Jason. No, this dog said, fuck that. I'll suicide if I have to. I'm getting the fuck out of here. That's such an amazing, crazy fucking scene. Just explain how hardcore Jason is.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, we had Corey Feldman who had, in the same year, he had Gremlins come out. So he had pretty much was on a darker side of movies at that point and early in his career, right? And then you've got, like I said, the kills in 4 are so good. I mean, you got, with Chris McGlover, you got horseshoe to the hand. Oh, you can't go anywhere. Cleaver to the fucking face. Come on, man.
Like, it's so quick too, by the way, because he's like, my fucking hand, and before he could even really turn his head, it's like, and it's like, jam the fuck in there, like. And
then you've got the fucking crushing his face against the porcelain wall, like that was rough. You saw that like bone crushing, like god damn.
And that's the thing, definitely the Jason in part 4 is where you get like they gave us a little bit with 3 with him crushing the dude's head, but with part 4, like he looks like he doesn't even need anything to kill people. He's a big motherfucker, like you were saying. He just crushed the dude's face, and just the way he like handle people. Like if you're gonna try to fight him, you're fucking gonna lose.
Well, look at the end scene when they leave that one house to go back to the Jarvis's house. he literally had hung up Crispin Glover to scare people. He just like one arm rips him down,
man.
one arm, dude.
And you're like, ouch! Like I know he's dead, but God, that's gotta fucking hurt.
God damn, dude! It was
And then
one arm.
literally
It wasn't like he had to like. He was like, psh, like
and then
fly.
just literally hey, I'm here, throwing the body through the fucking window, like just so easily. Like, yeah, now I'm gonna make my note. I'm gonna let you know that I'm here. Just toss bodies, rip bodies down. That's a big motherfucker. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's great that's actually established as canon for him at that point. It makes it so much more satisfying later in 6 when he's able to just rip arms out of sockets and throw them and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, 6.
Yeah.
6. They went. While he was resting, he got a little roid rage going on because he is noticeably fucking bigger in 6.
Yes.
Noticeably.
And I will say, outside of 6, 4 has the best kill of Jason. Because not only does like Feldman lose his shit and go just machete brazen on his ass and just starts hacking him up, like fucking he hits him, like the sister hits him in the side of the face in that scene, then falling on the fucking machete and sliding down. That shit still makes me cringe. It's
that's Savini.
That's Savini, dude.
That's Savini all the way.
Oh fuck! But it's so good, so good. You know, I mean, that's pretty much 4. 4 really gets the formula down where it's like, a bunch of horny teenagers who want to party show up and they're skinny dipping. When there's a lot of tits in that one, lots of amazing naked asses and titties.
Oh yeah.
Even like the reason even the guys get naked, but they get naked to make them feel comfortable. Like the actors, they're like.
The funny thing is, I think there's only one couple that actually fucks. There's
one.
There's a lot of it's about to happen. No, there's actually 2. I forgot. Crispin Glover fucking.
Yeah. Dude, I forgot about the spear through the fucking groin, the harpoon through the groin.
Yep.
Yeah.
The boyfriend who's going to look for the girl. She's naked the longest, and she has a glorious booty and titties in that.
Yes.
The one who gets stabbed through the raft. Woo. Yeah. But like, you thought hers was bad though, because she's getting stabbed from underneath, right?
Yep.
But he got it through the fucking groin and picked up. Like, and if you think your girlfriend's out there naked, you probably might already be starting to get a little boner going, and then you get stabbed and get picked up. That's not a cool thing, dude. That is not okay. That's just bad times.
Jason ruins a lot of days.
So 4 definitely has so many solid fucking kills, and because really that's what it comes down to. That's what you want from a Jason movie, and that's what you wanted moving forward for all the other Jason movies. Is like, and that's what they got right with the Hatchet series. Like, I feel like the Hatchet series made up for the lack of the latter part of the Jason movies, where they were just inventive. Every kill was inventive.
Yep.
You know, every fucking
you
kill.
had these kind of weird characters, and again, like with part 4, you have character development enough to know who he's killing. That. You don't like these characters, but you at least know some stuff about them, So, and that's what lacks later in the series is you don't fucking care about anybody. Like they're giving you information. You're like, I don't fucking care. And that's where the early ones, they made you learn to actually know the characters before they get slaughtered.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the stories are interesting. It feels like it sticks a little too closely to the We Need Counselors all the way on up to Jason X even. And their stories just aren't good after the first couple of movies.
Yeah. And we already talked about 5. We're not going to make it that.
That's what I'm saying. We already talked about 5.
But like, there's 6, which, I mean, it's my favorite.
I was going to say, I don't know how Reiser feels. But low down me, I know I put that at top notch.
Which one is your favorite?
I have a strong Freddy versus Jason bias for a lot of reasons.
I get that though. I get that. We are going to touch on that because there's really after 6. Like, if you want to hear about Jason Goes to Hell, our other podcast on the network, Beautiful Disasters, I'm on it with Hunter and Groot. So literally go listen to that. I'm not wasting time on Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
There's like one good kill in Jason Next, dude. I had to fucking. It's so ridiculous.
The biggest contribution we'll say with Jason Goes to Hell. Well, no, that's Jason X. That's not even Jason.
Oh, Jason. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you said.
Jason Goes to Hell. The biggest thing you could say about that is again the Freddy arm at the
teaser,
end, and that's all. That's the
Jason.
only thing.
That's what started the fans to where they finally fucking made it 10 years later. Fuck. Now 6, I think it got a little. It did get neutered. Some of the kills, it's got great kills, but there are a couple kills you don't see that I think, like she just walks in and sees the gory. Like towards the gory cabin.
See, that's what's amazing about 6 is even like a throwaway kill where you don't see it, but you see the after effect of it.
Oh god,
aftermath. Where like there's so much like comically amount of blood all over that cabin.
Yeah, I was about to defend the cabin kill as well because it's absurd. There's no way that much blood came out of the people that were in that cabin.
One
like
person.
But
almost shining levels of blood.
But I'm saying it also is one of those things where I got to give it to the director because he's showing you so much, and here he's like, he shows you so many kills before that when that happens, and that's true. What? This is a choose your own way that she died.
The kills really build up in that too because it starts off like just with Horshack. Basically getting stabbed and dropped in the casket.
Yeah, and right there, literally, as soon as Jason is alive, they establish his strength where literally he punches him through the fucking heart. Like, he punches him through the fucking heart.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, here's your heart, you're dead.
Which makes sense, because canonically, he is a Mortal Kombat fighter.
Pretty much. Yeah. But I'm just saying,
he's in the later games.
We were talking about the earlier movies where, like, you can see his strength. But literally, they didn't even fuck around. Like, first kill... through your heart. Yeah, your heart's out like that fast.
And one of the reasons that it's so good is because of the C.J. Graham who played Jason. He was just so quick movement, but still slow to walk. Like Jason never really ran in this one, but he had run a lot in 2, 3, and 4 leading up to that. But in 6, he walks fast. He never runs. He walks with speed and purpose. Like, or when he doesn't need to, he's just walking with purpose. Like, it's, I don't know, watching CJ Graham.
His movements are just...
Yeah, it's awesome.
He communicates just that he is this stalking killer to the level that, like, it's not, am I going to kill you? But what do I have around me to kill you with? And just, I'm going to casually do it. Like, that's the best way I can put it.
You're right.
As I recall, that was a happy accident, too. There was a different Jason first played by another stuntman.
They were like, he was a little too, someone said he's a little too fat. Like, they said it nicely, but they were basically like, you're a little too fat, dude. Like, he's like, yeah, he kind of got thick. Like, yeah.
He kills the corporate executives, but I do think the performance is really strong in that. And another thing I want to call attention to is the direction. From what I understand, the director had only ever shopped around comedies in Hollywood before and was picked to bring a fun sensibility to it. And it shows. The movie is wacky in all the best possible ways.
Yeah, no, 6 is the perfect mix of any Friday the 13th movie. It's just got just enough,
and that's
and it's still serious. Like, it's just got just that right amount,
right? Tone where it's going with a serious tone, but there's moments where there's a character talking to the camera. There's little horror.
There's the fucking there's the cemetery keeper. He was like, these motherfuckers, why they want to dig him up?
What's wrong with people? Yeah, it literally looks at the camera like.
Yeah, and there's a lot of nice little fourth wall breaks and comedy style breaks where like the last executive is like, I'm fucked, aren't I? And then all the campers, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Oh yeah,
or something as simple as, and I remember watching the trailer for this. Before I ever saw it, and literally just a throwaway line, but he's like, when they're talking about the first couple kills that they find, and the deputy's like, well, happy Friday the 13th. And I remember like just something like that, like marking this, because again, the movie never talks about Friday the 13th, and it's the first time like bring it up. It's like, well, this is a shitty day for this to happen on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great little touches of irony, like the sheriff going, we need to get my daughter back because that guy is going to do something crazy. And then immediately smash cut to the guy, please don't do anything crazy while you're driving, are the words out of his mouth.
Yeah. And I mean, there's like all kinds, like she like driving and like in the drive scene when she's just like going around the curves and his face just like literally slams against her vagina. Like, I mean, come on, like that's just funny. It's funny, like it's funny shit. And she smiles.
Or
like,
no, but when they stop and literally
he brings his head up.
His head comes up and her dad.
She was getting some roadhead the whole time. That was awesome.
Like he already's like, fuck this Tommy guy.
And then
his head comes up and you're like, oh, you're so fucked, dude.
That's fucking awesome. But
the kills
are just so good. I mean,
like one that you only see kind of the after effect of, but you just see how fucking hardcore it is the RV one when he grabs that chick and fucking puts her face, and then you get the outside and you see the mold of her face. That's fucking hardcore.
And that's got one of the
It's hardcore, but it's also hilarious. That's like Looney Tunes level of violence.
And that's what I'm saying is like, I didn't just like smash your face in, I pushed it till you were part of the RV.
Yeah, like the back of her head was flush with the wall,
like
and
literally
she stuck out.
What they didn't show is after he lets go, like she's just hanging there with her face in the fucking RV.
Yeah,
like,
that's so good.
God damn.
That led up to one of the sickest Jason like shots of all the films when he just steps out of the turnover RV and it's smoking and on fire. But like, it's the way CJ Graham does it. He literally does like a one-step lunge out. Like, he doesn't have to like pick himself up. He literally just slams the door out, brings up his upper body, puts his leg up in the fucking RV, and just lunges out. Smooth movement, one step, and then he's just, like Jason is ultimate fucking. I don't know. No other Jason's done that.
No, and it relishes in the shots of Jason, which is a wonderful thing after the first couple of movies. 5, he's obviously not in it, but the others, there's a lot of shots of point of view in the woods and slow and quick. Keep the monster hidden. No, this makes the monster the star, and it's wonderful that way.
They really, and you're right, they really do make Jason front and center being a fucking killing machine.
Yep, you get him in broad daylight, walking through the woods.
Stealthy.
Yes.
Like towards the end when he like comes into the kids' room, but he's like, you're not going to kill the kids, but he slowly walks through and just, I don't know, he just like, he was very stealthy and quiet for being such a big dude in that. Like it was awesome.
And again, it's these rules that were quote established in other ones that this movie breaks. Again, we hadn't since the first one, like this is the first one we had actual kids there. And you were like, this motherfucker is going to murder children. Like, you know, like, I mean, like, you're waiting for it. You don't see it, but like, there's nothing off limits. And I like that you didn't know what levels it was.
At that point, you're right. You didn't, because there's never been, the kids have never showed up to the camp at that point. So that was definitely a big thing, new to add to the series. And then obviously
the tone, like I know it's supposed to take place normally a camp would be in the summertime, but there is a fall feel to that movie.
Oh, it was shot in the fall.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's a fall movie.
It's a fall movie.
It's a fall movie.
And it's almost obvious, like, you know.
They're wearing fucking winter coats at the end, dude. What fucking summer camp do you wear like a full fucking parka?
And it was almost like the director's like, yeah, the kids are in camp. It's a fall camp. Don't fucking worry about it.
The officers are wearing full fucking parkas.
Yeah.
Like
you
fluffy
can see,
jackets.
One time you can see the cop's breath when he gets taken out on the dock.
Yeah.
You see his breath right beforehand. Now I know it might get a little chilly, but not see your breath in the
Tommy's
summertime.
wearing a flannel hooded like outer like jacket. Like you don't wear that in the summer.
It works. Like that's the thing.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it cracks me up too, because at first you might think that this is a summer camp far in the Great North, but then you learn, like from Jason Takes Manhattan, it's pretty much located just outside of New Rochelle. Yeah. It is not even upstate.
And so the way he keeps coming, they really focus on like this Frankensteinish kind of thing. The monster keeps coming with like,
I mean,
that final scene with the sheriff where he just is shooting him and he knocks him back, and then he gets up, then he knocks him back, and then he gets up. But it's the way that Graham does it. It's kind of like the Michael Myers thing where he just doesn't have to like force himself to sit up. He just sits up. Like, you know, feet stay on the ground, just the upper body sits up, which means you have decent core strength, right? And then he finally just gets up and, you know.
Head to toes.
Oh, God. Head to toes, man. That was, oh, God. You break somebody's back, you're a strong motherfucker.
So where exactly does Jason acquire his teleportation skill? Is it Manhattan?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know if I can't recall if he was teleporting in 6 or not.
No, he was walking. He never left the woods around the camp in 6.
Yeah.
And like it shows him walking back into the camp at the end. Like there's a whole scene of him walking into Camp Crystal.
Might have had to hustle a little bit.
Forest Green.
Hustle a little bit with the RV, because I mean he gets a few miles before he
but they weren't that
stabs,
far.
He stabs that dude in the head. I'm just saying
they were heading back to the camp. They weren't that far outside of camp.
Okay. See, I always just thought
they remember the girls talk about that. Like he just kind of wanted to get far enough away where they could to the RV section of the camp. Like I think it was still part of the camp down the road.
Okay.
Not the kids part, maybe.
I was just trying to figure out the amount of time he's driving that Jason kills the girl in the fucking bathroom and then stabs in the head. Like I just assume it's like a few miles, but I'm just thinking like that's a little bit of a hike for Jason to come back to the area.
They're also heading towards the camp at that point.
Okay.
They need to get.
That helps out.
They need to get back.
Then he should have waited until they got into the camp and then stabbed him in the head.
Let everyone know that he's around.
And he had time too. I mean, the police had to go on that whole high-speed chase too. And
then they find the RV down the road.
Yeah,
right?
the police are chasing this one dude while motherfuckers are getting murdered left or right, and nobody, for the most part, is going, maybe we should go check on the camp. No. Let's go chase all our resources going after the one guy.
The sheriff literally won't even burn the fuel to drive to a nearby road to investigate the car that's stuck in the middle of it, where Jason has murdered 2 people in the car.
And the only surviving member of the police force, deputy with the fucking laser beam, because remember, he's stuck in the cell.
Where the dot goes,
that saved his life. Literally, him being incompetent saved his life. Yep.
I want that dude to show up at a con. I will totally get him to sign a poster. It's like, where the red dot go, shebang.
He's in the fan made ones, which I don't know how much if we want to bring those
I haven't
up.
gotten it. I know.
But there is a couple that, I suggest people check out. And he does a cameo in one of them. And I was kind of like, that's right. And I was like, no, he fucking died 6. No, he didn't.
No, he never died. He was locked up in the fucking station.
Yeah.
Never died.
Yeah. Greatest plan ever.
Yeah. So, like, a 6, I think, had... It's hard for me. I think 4's Jason kills actually stronger than 6's. 6 had good setup. But the actual kill was just basically getting him underwater and then, like, the fucking boat propeller hitting him in the fucking throat and he drowns.
Yeah. No, but when it comes to Jason's kill, I mean, you're not going to get...
4, you can't
get
higher
more than
4,
his
dude.
face sliding down the... It's
Dude,
not going to happen.
Like 4 has, like, the strongest kill Jason.
And he doesn't even really die at the end of 6 anyway. It's the final scare is him winking at you.
Basically.
I do like that effect, though, when the boat propeller hits and you see chunks floating to the top.
It, like, snaps
Wait,
his
those
neck, too.
chunks just floating to the top, and you're like, those are Jason chunks just floating around. Yeah.
And then snap. You're like, oh. Now, it's definitely good. I'm just saying, I think 4 is the best Jason kill. Like, killing Jason. Now, another cool thing about 6 is just they completely... Every time there's been a change to the actual score, part 3, part 6 was it's still Harry Manfredini's score, but done with different instruments. You know, like 3, if you listen to it and listen to the first 2 movies, it's the same song, just now it's done with a beat and, a synthesizer. Like, and the same thing with 6. 6 is done more like Gothic style music, but it's the same track, just with different instruments used. So it's really cool that you're getting the same score just done differently. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then after 6, they just said, "Fuck it, we're not using the score anymore."
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, fuck. Now,
after a while, they didn't even use the title anymore. They're just like, Jason Goes to Hell. It's not even Friday.
That's where the legality shit started.
I'm just saying, but that's where they were just like, we're not even
Jason X.
Yeah. They just stopped saying Friday the 13th altogether.
After 8, yeah, because Paramount dropped that shit like a bad habit after 8.
And here's the thing: is that it's Friday the 13th. Jason Goes to Hell. Like, so literally, they were even trying.
No, it's Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday.
I mean,
There's no Friday 13th in there.
No. You're right.
Friday.
I'm talking about Jason Goes to Manhattan, but it's still Friday the 13th. Jason, but it's very small font, Friday the 13th, 8, and then Jason, and giant font that. So they'd already been pushing.
Paramount was like, you're losing money.
So really, it's 7 where they still were embracing the franchise, and then they went, it's just Jason. We don't.
Yeah, because it was like
Friday
the 13th 7, the new blood.
Now, one last thing I want to just say about 6 real quick is just I like the comedy tone of it, hit you right over the head at the beginning, where they literally do a James Bond thing at the very beginning of it.
It's so good.
But that's what I'm saying.
So good.
And that's where you're like, all right, what are we in store for? Because like it's so hilarious, but it's just funny that like that immediate tone of like this is gonna be something different.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the when they Myke, you talked about when they killed the couple in the bug earlier.
Yes.
And the girl and the girl got out, and that's where he stabbed her in the puddle with the fence post. But like, if you remember when she let go of her hand, it was an American Express card.
Yeah, gratuitous product placement.
Yeah, but it was like, back then the slogan was "You can't leave home without it." Like, it was like, it's just so much cheesy shit there, but it's done the right way.
Yep.
Like, we understand it's cheesy, but it doesn't deter from anything. None of that deterred from anything. So the movie was able to hold this standard of seriousness and horror, and actually be horror.
It's great though. It never forgets that you're here to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm trying to think of the last time you had someone try to reason and beg for their life with Jason. Most of the time, they don't even get to that point. They're like, "Oh shit," and dead. Like, and she's like, "Please, like, I'm good. Here's money or whatever."
Oh no, fuck.
Yeah, but just that you don't usually have that where there's someone's actually trying to reason with Jason. They don't usually they don't even get that much of a sentence out of their mouth.
All right, we kind of gave you the rundown of the ones we, like I said, Jason Goes to Hell, listen to Beautiful Disasters episode on it. I don't give a fuck about talking about Jason X. I'm sorry. That fucking movie's, it's horrible.
Don't.
And then we've got Freddy vs. Jason. That's the next big one. If you want to hear us talk about the remake, we did a killer filler on that last year. So, it's really a killer filler for part 2. Because, like, it's not... the first Friday the 13th is, like, the first 2 minutes of the movie. But anyway, so we're not going to dig too much into the remake, but Freddy vs. Jason needs to be talked about. It's an iconic battle, and it took 10 fucking years from teasing it in Jason Goes to Hell. I think you get a really good mix of both characters in that film. Like, I feel like it was marketed as a Freddy movie, and that's kind of how they show it. Like, Freddy is puppeting Jason. Which makes sense. Like, how else are you going to get those two to, like, kind of come together, right? But I feel like it was marketed more as a nightmare film versus, like, an actual versus until you actually watch the film and you're like, oh, okay, no, it's, like, totally
I feel like there's more real world stuff than dream world stuff in that movie.
That's what I'm saying. Once you watch it,
which makes it more of a Jason movie.
I think because the Friday, Nightmare franchise went down the tubes too, but not as bad as Friday. Friday went, dude.
It's
Friday
such a
so
hard
bad.
call on,
Dude,
on what's shittier.
I will watch Freddy's Dead over fucking Manhattan all day. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I don't
and then
want
they
to
had
watch
Wes Craven's New Nightmare to bring it back.
Yeah,
Jason never had that.
I'll give you that.
Jason never had that.
But
They never had the. Jason didn't end on a strong note.
That New Nightmare Freddy has no reference to what this Freddy versus Jason.
That's true, but it had fans willing to go see a movie with Freddy.
They saw
in
more
it.
potential. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Wes Craven's New Nightmare was amazing compared to anything after 6 and Jason.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely the quippier, like Saturday morning cartoon version of Freddy that shows up in Freddy vs. Jason, and that's why it's more marketable as his story. But it's interesting to note he is threatened a lot more by the humans than Jason ever is.
Truth.
I think honestly they got the right director because last franchise we're talking about with Chucky, Bride of Chucky, Ronnie Yu is who they went with, and he showed he could take this horror icon and have some fun with it, and I thought his directing is what makes Freddy vs. Jason it's ridiculous, but it's ridiculous, and you're just like, let's have some fun with this.
Yeah, it owns its ridiculousness, and the action stays good the entire time, too, which is wonderful.
The flaming through the cornfield, dude. You can't beat that shit. The bird's eye view of Jason just making this flaming path through a cornfield.
Oh.
Come the fuck on, man. That is so awesome.
The bed scene, like he kills the motherfucker, and then he's like, and like pretty much like the sheriff, he's just like, oh, there's a bed to do this?
He stabs him like 10 times in a machete, and then it's like, oh, wait, thunk. You're like, oh, Jesus.
And she comes down to discuss. Can you imagine going to the bathroom and coming back, and the person you were about to fuck
already fucked. Already fucked.
Okay. But literally you come back and their head and their toes in the bed are touching each other and they're bloody shit. You're like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
She didn't scream and leave.
Yeah, and the movie features probably my favorite kill of the entire series by Jason, Kelly Rowland, because she's a force of nature in that movie.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Almost beats Freddy just with her mouth. And then Jason walks right up to her and rocket punches her into the a million miles away into a tree.
That's probably the second Jason movie to but also because you have the Freddy element as well, but it definitely brings in the humor. Like, I don't have any qualms with Freddy versus Jason. I think for what it was, like, especially the final battle, and really in the final battle, Freddy's kicking Jason's ass pretty hard. The whole fucking fight.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Jason's getting his ass handed to him.
And they did establish something that hadn't really been brought up, which is Jason's fear of water drowning.
Yeah, I'm a little.
And they worked it, but I think they did it okay. I was a little worried that was like, that's his kryptonite, but it would fuck with him. And
it makes sense because Freddy knows your fears.
Yeah.
And even though Jason's been able to be in water in the previous movies and not freak the fuck out, especially in 6, like he's hiding in water. Like when Tommy's trying to get around him, he's just like in the water waiting to jump out. Like,
yeah.
Jason doesn't necessarily, he goes back in the water at some point in 8 to walk basically to Manhattan. Like, Jason doesn't have a real fear of it. I think.
Well, he has a fear of drowning, not just water. Drowning. Yeah.
So I think the subconscious thing Freddy tapped into really.
I mean, to the point
where he's feel like
having water come out of him, which I thought was kind of cool when they're
initially
mouth to mouth with Jason, which 100% fuck that. No way.
No, you're dying. You're dying, bitch.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nope. But like, that's the thing is, in the movie, the one scene that I had a problem with, not in the dream sequence where Freddy's drowning Jason, but when the other scene where Freddy is obviously fighting Jason in a dream world is when he makes the water fall. Jason's not drowning at that point.
That's true.
Jason's not drowning at that point, right? It's just in front of him. And like, no. You know?
Yeah, that is a little ridiculous. It seems like he's scared of a dripping pipe at that point.
Yeah. But him dreaming about Freddy drowning him.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I get that. Like, or him drowning, reliving his trauma, and then Freddy pumping out the water and drowning him some more. Okay, I get that. It's fucked, you know?
Yeah.
And I gotta say, whenever Freddy did something like completely fucking dastardly in that movie, the way his makeup was, where it made him like more look like a demon with like demon eyes, and all his teeth were super sharp. Shit was awesome.
Kind of, blending a little bit of the New Nightmare Freddy into that is how I think they kind of did.
Yeah.
They definitely gave him more demon-like eyes, a la New Nightmare.
Mm-hmm. And I really dug that.
It's the best he's ever looked on screen by far.
I agree.
And I love how they end it in a way where there's no, this person definitely won. I mean, because, you've got fucking Jason out of the water with Freddy's head. You're like, I guess it's pretty obvious. But then you have Freddy give that wink, and that wink is all you needed.
Yeah.
It's clear the two of them won, and the rest of us lose forever now.
Yeah.
But the way Jason did it, I mean, he fucking stabs him with his own fucking claw. That shit's so good. That shit's so good. Like, rips his arm off and just stabs him with his own arm.
And that's the kind of shit that we want to see.
Yeah. Like, the movie hit everything. I feel like it checked every box it needed to check to be a Freddy versus Jason movie. It really did.
And here's the thing is that you look at that and you're like, well, yeah, we got what we wanted.
Except for the CGI parts.
Right. But for the most part, we got what we wanted. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's easy. It's a, so-and-so versus so-and-so. But how many movies, how many fucking, Alien vs. Predator, how many, like, things like that have we had that have just been complete dog shit? So even though we think it should be an easy concept and just have fun with it, you still see movies of this caliber just go off the tracks.
It's because joy and fun are too often forgotten in those kinds of team up movies, and this one keeps it front and center.
It really did. It really did. It was done so well for how horrible it could have been.
Yeah,
because I love how the director was like, I don't want Kane Hodder back. I'm like, oh,
that was a kind of a ballsy movie. He's like, But again, can we just throw this out there as Kane Hodder? And I know I know Kane Hodder, and everybody's like, oh, that's the definitive Jason.
It's because he played
he's the definitive shitty Jason movies. Like, that's...
Yeah, is the reason he's definitive is because he played Jason more than once. No one else ever played Jason more than once. That's really it. The movies that they were making, and this is no fault to Kane Hodder, like, I think his Jason wasn't bad. Like, how he chose to portray Jason, like the chest breathing and like just this... He did do that Jason was a force in his own way, right? It was just, those movies weren't good.
No.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't good at all. If there had been better writing and better sequels, he could have been like the ultimate also for being in some of the best Jason movies. But they didn't do...
I just look, for years and years of the cons, Kane Hodder's been, that's kind of his thing. You're going to see him at a con. And
I think, like I said, I think he was, his version of Jason was different, and I thought it was good.
But there's none, there's none of the movies that he was Jason in I ever want a poster to get autographed. So, like, there's no real drive there.
Hatchet.
But that's what I'm saying.
Hatchet.
It's now because I've fallen in love with Hatchet. That's where I see Kane Hodder. I'm like, motherfucker, Hatchet. I will get him to sign any of the Hatchet movie posters.
Exactly. But, like, it just sucks because he is playing this iconic character that it would be nice. And a lot of people do love his his Jason movies.
Why?
I don't know. But, like I said, my problem with him as Jason has never been his Jason. It's been the movies that he had to do to play Jason.
Yeah.
The writing was terrible.
I don't even think he did a shitty job. I don't
think he did at all. We had one of the greatest.
If you're in a
boring with the sleeping
fucking
bag scene, we didn't talk about the sleeping bag fucking scene.
That's right.
He literally has what has gone down in history as the greatest Jason kill ever was the sleeping bag scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's just representative of too many of the shitty ones.
Yeah.
It's just hard because you have to go through he makes a great Jason, a boring fucking movie that makes no fucking sense over and over again. But he's that Jason.
Yeah,
whatever.
And I do feel bad for him about that. But it gave him like now he goes to kind of people like before Hatchet he was still doing like because he was Jason. There are people that love those Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
So but like the guy who they got for Freddy versus Jason was a big bitch. He was a Canadian stunt, and he actually saw him in Part 8. He was the guy who got thrown over the
car, right? In
the diner. The diner scene. He got thrown over the fucking counter in the diner. Big ass Canadian stunt dude. Most people that play Jason were stunt guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But he was a big boy. Biggest, like I said, you go back and listen to the Killer Philip, but Derek Mears is a big motherfucker too. Like Jason in the remake was huge. Big. If you met him in person, you had to look up to him, and I'm fucking 6 foot. So, yeah. So, we kind of went over the worst, best, own opinions, best kills. I don't really care about going over worst kills. We're running out of time anyway. We still got some more stuff to talk.
The worst kills are the ones where they
cut, they neutered him.
Just quick stabbing, or half the ones in 7 that should have been badass that weren't.
So, all right. But before we leave, we are going to talk about our sponsors. We've got Amazon.com. You click on our link and you go and shop through Amazon normal. We get a little kickback, and we appreciate that shit. Second being TeePublic. Click on the link at UFPodcast.com, and it takes you to our TeePublic merch page where we have a fuck ton of designs that you can get on multiple things, like tote bags, laptop covers, fucking
So many things. Just
so
get a
many
whole
things.
set of stickers just for all the different things.
Every show on the network, get a sticker and a magnet, and that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And also on GUIPodcast.com is all the shows under the GUI network. There's something for everybody. Everyone's throwing out good content. So make sure you check that shit out. And now it is time for
Stump the host.
All right, so here we are again. Stump the fucking host.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
Hunter got back up again. Yeah, so now you're
Close.
you're up by
I was
3.
on a losing streak
You
for
were
a
up
little
by
while.
2. Now you're back up to 3.
I was getting a little nervous.
Let's see how you do. So
and then that last one, I think it was by 1. I got 1.
you literally kept saying the same answer over and over again until you got it
worked.
right.
I know.
It
It
fucking worked, you bastard. So, Reiser, you get to decide who goes first.
Oh, well, since you're up already, you might as well start.
Ooh.
Oh,
Let's get
shit.
the party
Ooh,
going.
That's the opposite. Like it.
Ah.
All right, so this first question here. The 1965 real-life torture murder of Sylvia Likens inspired not one but 2 2007 horror films about the incident. One based on a Jack Ketchum novel that goes for broke on the gore. Another one, a classier, more artistic film with Catherine Keener and Elliot Page. Name one of them.
Fuck me. I have no idea.
2007. Oh.
Well, I'd ask for Peter, but that's a lot of information. So,
So based off a Jack Ketchum novel?
Yes, one of the films is.
One of the films is. Of the 2.
Yes.
One has who?
One has Catherine Keener and Elliot Page. It is not the one based on the Jack Ketchum novel. The Jack Ketchum one has nobodies.
Yeah, I don't know. I have
Super
not
gory.
sure.
2007? Oh.
You're gonna say it, and then I'm gonna be really pissed
I
off.
don't think I can get that one. I don't think I can steal it. Yeah.
Yep.
go.
The Girl Next Door was the one that was based on the Jack Ketchum novel and is absolutely disgusting. The more psychological horror film is An American Crime.
I've seen The Girl Next Door. I haven't seen American Crime.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go.
Well,
I didn't get to steal
shit.
it from you. So
Yeah.
you wasted the first round there, Hunter.
Here we go.
Oh,
I got
boy.
one for you.
Here we go.
The internet is going nuts right now with a rumor that legendary video game developer Hideo Kojima is bringing back a super famous, long dormant horror video game and movie series famous for its villain Pyramid Head. What is it?
Oh, Silent Hill.
Yep.
God damn it! As soon as you said Pyramid Head, I was like, I'm not gonna.
Well, no, that's what gave it away because I was going to say, there was Zombie Island and then House of the Dead that were both
Yes.
made it into a movie at some point.
I
So
thought
was gonna,
I thought you were doing some kind of like other reference to Splatterhouse.
Those were games that did make it into the movie, and then both the game and the movie were kind of trash in House of the Dead. And
I thought it was gonna be a Splatterhouse one because honestly, Splatterhouse. Your hero wears a fucking hockey mask and kills motherfuckers
Yeah.
with different weapons like machetes and stuff like that in
Like
the haunted
Jason.
houses. It's blatantly a ripoff of Jason.
anything,
in
any
these
dude
games.
wearing a hockey-esque mask.
Yeah,
is blatantly
but it's not just a
off
hockey
Jason.
mask. It's the build, like he's all muscle bound and shit like that too. So
Yeah, and there hasn't been a Splatterhouse game period since like the Xbox 360 days.
exactly.
Oh shit, so we're 2 systems away from that now.
Yep.
Fuck, man.
Long time ago.
Oh, Jesus.
So I've got one for you now. In Friday the 13th 3, Jason kills one of the victims while the victim is reading a Fangoria magazine about the artistry and career of what Friday the 13th behind the scenes professional.
Tom Savini.
Yes.
That was
That
too
was-
easy.
yeah.
That was too easy.
As soon as
I
you
was like,
said
if you get that
Fangoria,
wrong-
by the way, I was like, all right.
if you
cool.
get that wrong, I would have probably punched you.
All right,
I'm
all right,
sorry.
a little
dude.
less pressure. As much as we mentioned over and over again, part 4, it's Savini did that. Savini did that. You know about Savini? Like,
Yeah, Savini.
Yeah,
Savini. Savini on Savini.
which on a side note, anybody that hasn't seen it, definitely check out
Smoke and
Savini-
Mirrors.
Yeah, the documentary on Shudder.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
so good.
fucking
So good.
All right, I've got one for you now. The Hughes brothers directed this 2001 adaptation of a graphic novel about a famous historical serial killer, starring Johnny Depp.
Jack from Hell.
Ah, damn it! I was like,
You said the year got me because I was like, oh no, it's serial killer. It's like it's got to be From Hell. Yeah.
or the movie that kept putting people to sleep. As when I worked at the theater, after every show, I would go in there and find people passed the fuck out. There's something about the tone of that movie.
Dude, I love that movie. I think it was solid
But
as
there was
fuck.
something about the late showings of that movie that would just knock people out. Like I kid
It's
you,
a slow burn. It's a
the
suspense.
the first week you go in there and find people passed out.
Right, it was the third one.
It's weird. I don't know what it was about that
Here
movie.
we go. Here we go.
Oh shit!
All right.
pressure's on.
Yeah.
Who are the only two actors who have faced off against an alien, a Terminator, and a Predator? Name one.
Bill Paxton.
There you go.
God,
Nice.
yes.
Very good.
I
That was so good. I was like,
right
yeah,
off. Oh.
that's a good fucking question.
That's my boy. That's my boy, Bill
great
Paxton.
question.
Yeah.
That's a good fucking question. All right, so we're tied.
Yep. And the other answer is Lance Henriksen for the curious, which leads into our next question. Lance Henriksen was the star of this 1990s X-Files spinoff that is horror tinged, featuring a psychic detective squaring off against serial killers.
A psychic
Oh,
detective?
I got this so bad.
Staring off against serial killers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that again? I'm sorry. Like I was Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen starred in what 1990s spinoff of the X-Files as a psychic detective going up against serial killers?
I have no fucking idea.
Oh, man. Millennium.
Yes.
That was a thing?
Yeah, it was a spinoff. There was two
Fuck.
spinoffs.
It's a thing you would love.
There was two spinoffs from X-Files. That one,
Fuck, man,
and then
I lost
they did
off of
the
that.
Lone Gunman series.
Fuck me, man. I lost on that. That's fucking bullshit,
Yeah.
dude. That's fucking
Yeah.
bullshit.
I was worried when you were going that route you were going to go near dark, and that would have fucked me.
That shit happens because he's old and he remembers that. Like, I only watched X-Files when I was younger. I had no idea there was a spinoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it.
I mean, I never watched the show. I just knew there was a spinoff, so.
Fuck. All right. So, 101. So, hit us up at lowdownbrown.gui@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about Friday the 13th movies, best, worst, favorite kill, least favorite kill. We're going to post stuff on social media with also asking questions. So make sure you check out our Instagram and Facebook. On the stories, we're going to ask some questions about, do you agree this is the best, worst, yada, yada. So be on the lookout for that. And until we talk to you again, stay safe.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com. In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens, done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, Scotty Big Daddy Preston here, that's right, the Geek Father, asking you to join me here every other week with friends and family of the GUI Network as we go through all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent. So remember, join us or cry.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as, what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.